Don't be trying to get athletic. Just be bully. Good, good, yeah, yeah, KK. Come on, Yellow. Yeah, tell him, I. Come on. Great cut. Good. Mismatch. Yes. Good, Didi. Good, Tori. Good. Nice, yes. Good.
What you just heard is the echoing sentiment of every single analyst, die-hard supporter, and casual observer who has paid even a fraction of attention to the absolute train wreck unfolding in Indianapolis right now. If you thought the off-season drama was just a phase or a couple of angry tweets from a vocal minority, you need a reality check immediately. We are currently witnessing an unprecedented fan mutiny. This is no longer a disagreement over X's and O's. This is a full-blown rebellion against a front office that has somehow managed to alienate the most loyal, rapidly expanding fan base in the history of professional women's sports. The executives are sweating, the ticket sales are freezing, and the desperate, painfully transparent public relations campaign designed to salvage the reputation of head coach Stephanie White has just backfired in the most spectacular, publicly humiliating way imaginable. For the past several weeks, the Indiana Fever organization has been on an aggressive, non-stop propaganda tour. They have been aggressively trying to force-feed a very specific, highly curated narrative to the public. They want you to swallow the pill that their new offensive system is a stroke of unparalleled tactical genius. They want you to believe that taking the basketball out of the hands of the greatest playmaking point guard of her generation, slowing down the offensive pace to a miserable crawl, and completely reinventing a wheel that was already spinning at light speed is somehow the key to a championship. But the fans, the actual living, breathing people who buy those astronomically overpriced jerseys, the people who empty their wallets for season tickets, the people who drove the television ratings into the stratosphere last season are flat out rejecting it. Fever Nation is not a group of casuals. This is a highly educated basketball audience. They know the game, they understand spacing, gravity, and transition offense. And most importantly, they know exactly when they are being lied to. Let us rewind the tape and look at the absolute absurdity of this situation. Think back to last season. Think about what Caitlin Clark achieved in her rookie year with the basketball actually in her hands. We watched her navigate aggressive double teams, face guarding, and relentless physical defensive schemes every single night. Despite all of that, she shattered the all-time single-season assist record. She pushed the pace faster than any player in the entire league, turning long rebounds into instantaneous fast break points. Her court vision, her ability to hit logo threes off the dribble, her unparalleled gravity that warped opposing defenses and created wide-open looks for her teammates, all of it was predicated on her being the primary ball handler. She is the engine. She is the sun that the entire solar system is supposed to revolve around. You do not draft a generational talent like that and ask her to become a role player. You do not ask Stephen Curry to stand in the corner and wait for a pass. You do not ask LeBron James to stop initiating the offense. But for some inexplicable reason, the Indiana Fever Brain Trust decided that they were smarter than the game of basketball itself. So, what does a desperate front office do when the fan base starts visibly and loudly turning on the new head coach before the first official game has even tipped off? Do they look in the mirror? Do they hold an emergency meeting and adjust their tactical approach? Do they listen to the millions of voices begging them to let their superstar actually play her game? No, of course not. Instead, they try to manipulate you. They try to gaslight their own audience. Just days before the highly anticipated season opener, the Indiana Fever social media team literally released a heavily edited, mic'd-up propaganda video of head coach Stephanie White. They thought this was going to be their silver bullet. They thought this would calm the storm. But if you actually look closely at this footage, if you truly listen to what she is saying, it is a glaring indictment of the entire situation. In the video, you hear White clapping and yelling things like, "Great cut! Good mismatch! Let's go! Come on, Yellow!" It is entirely empty. It is generic, high school-level cheerleading. There is absolutely zero high-level tactical insight being shown. There is no intricate play design, No brilliant offensive philosophy being communicated. What exactly was this video supposed to accomplish? The front office knows exactly what they were doing. They know that the fans are boiling over with frustration regarding this disastrous "park Caitlyn in the corner" strategy. They know Stephanie White is catching massive, relentless heat on every single social media platform. So, instead of showing the fans a terrifying, dynamic, fast-paced offense in practice, which is what the fans actually want to see, they decided to release a heavily sanitized video to try and make White look like the charismatic, energetic, locker room hero of the franchise. They are actively trying to manufacture your approval. They are desperately trying to force you to like the coach so you will somehow just ignore the glaring, fatal flaws in her offensive system. But it failed. It failed so miserably that it has actually accelerated the revolt. The comment section under this specific practice video is an absolute, undeniable bloodbath. It is a complete and total rejection of the coach, the front office, and the entire marketing department. It is one of the most united fronts of fan pushback I have ever seen. Let us dive into the actual voices of the fans. Let us read what the people paying the bills are actually saying. One furious supporter wrote a comment that perfectly encapsulated the rage, stating, "Why does it feel like the Fever are running a full PR campaign for Stephanie White instead of promoting the actual players people pay to see? I am sure she is a nice person, but she is not the franchise superstar, nor do fans pay to watch her. Stop trying to force her on the fan base. We decide if she deserves support once we see the offense and how CC is being used, not parked in a corner getting iced out again. Stop trying to manufacture approval through non-stop propaganda videos and put that energy into the product on the court." That comment alone completely dismantles and destroys the Fever's entire public relations strategy. But it gets even worse. Another fan dropped the absolute hammer, summarizing the exhausted feelings of millions of supporters. Fans are not stupid. This person is killing any kind of flair and brilliance in this team. This woman is not good enough to coach half of these players. That is why she cannot make plays work for Clark. Who would play CC as a forward? A clueless hack would. These are not casual internet trolls looking for attention. These are not bots. These are die-hard basketball fans who have invested their time, their emotions, and their hard-earned money into this franchise. These are the people who defended the team through the growing pains, who traveled across the country to watch away games, who bought the merchandise, and who absolutely refuse to accept a system that willfully suppresses a generational talent just so a coach can prove she is the smartest person in the room. But this mutiny is no longer just happening in the digital world. It has officially crossed over from angry YouTube comments and frustrated Twitter posts into the real world. This anger is now hitting the Indiana Fever organization exactly where it hurts the absolute most. It is hitting their bank account. It is hitting the bottom line. Let us talk about the terrifying, undeniable reality of the current ticket sales, because this is the ultimate mathematical proof that the fan revolt is real and it is doing massive damage. The season opener is this Saturday. It is opening night in Indianapolis in their own building. Let me remind you of what happened last year. Last year, when Caitlin Clark made her professional debut, the arena sold out in a matter of minutes. It was a digital bloodbath just trying to get into the Ticketmaster queue. It was virtually impossible to find a ticket. People were willingly paying thousands of dollars on the secondary market just to sit in the absolute last row of the nosebleeds, staring at the court from the rafters. The demand was unprecedented in the entire history of the sport. It was a cultural phenomenon. Fast forward to today. The Indiana Fever organization just had to post a desperate pleading video featuring Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham, literally asking people to come to the game. As of right now, with just days remaining before tip-off, there are roughly 1,700 tickets still sitting there completely unsold for the home opener. Do you comprehend what a colossal, humiliating failure that is for this front office? The Caitlin Clark effect guarantees an instant, immediate sellout in every single opposing arena across the entire country. When the Fever travel to Dallas, it sells out. When they go to Los Angeles, it sells out. When they go to Seattle, it sells out. But somehow, Through sheer incompetence, the Indiana Fever have managed to artificially cool down the hottest ticket in the world inside their very own building. They have literally had to drop the official ticket prices just to avoid the absolute visual embarrassment of empty seats on national television. The fans are sending a loud, crystal clear, and incredibly expensive message to the general manager and the entire coaching staff. They are speaking with their wallets. They are saying, if you try to outsmart the game of basketball, if you deliberately park our superstar in the corner, if you refuse to let her run the offense, and if you refuse to protect her from dirty plays on the court, we are keeping our money in our pockets. And honestly, if we are being completely objective, the front office has absolutely nobody to blame but themselves. They brought this financial and public relations disaster upon their own heads with a series of baffling decisions that date back to the offseason. We have to look back at the massive mistakes that led to this exact moment. When this team fired Christy Sides and was actively looking for a new head coach, the absolute perfect candidate was sitting right there, waiting for a phone call. Sandy Brondello. Sandy Brondello is a proven, battle-tested WNBA champion. She is a coach who knows exactly how to handle a locker room packed with massive egos, intense media scrutiny, and generational superstars. She literally just managed a roster with Brianna Stewart, Jonquel Jones, and Sabrina Ionescu, balancing their touches, maximizing their strengths, and winning a championship. Most importantly, Sandy Brondello has publicly praised Caitlin Clark's basketball genius on multiple occasions. She understands the modern game. She understands pace and space. She understands that you do not put a Ferrari in a school zone. But no. The Indiana Fever front office decided they wanted to do things their way. They ignored top-tier basketball minds. They ignored the obvious championship pedigree available on the market. They brought in Stephanie White, and now they are desperately spending thousands of dollars on PR campaigns trying to convince a highly intelligent fan base that they didn't make a colossal mistake. Listen to this heartbreaking comment from a former superfan who has officially thrown in the towel. I no longer follow the Fever. Why? Because of the coach and the front office. I cannot say this has happened to me in the past. With my other teams, it is ride or die. Granted, they had issues with the front office and coaches, but never like the Fever. Bye-bye. When you start losing the ride or die fans, you are in terminal trouble. The alienation of Fever Nation is nearly complete. The fans feel ignored. They feel deeply disrespected by the off-season surveys that seem to mock their basketball intelligence. They feel angry about the laughable foul penalties and the lack of physical protection for their franchise player. And above all else, they are absolutely refusing to be manipulated by fake, happy-clapping videos on Instagram. The final roster cuts have been made. The team is set. There is nowhere left for the front office to hide. There are no more preseason excuses. There is no more, they just need time to gel rhetoric. Saturday is no longer just opening night. It is not just another game on the long, regular season schedule. It has become a massive, high-stakes, incredibly tense referendum on head coach Stephanie White and the entire Indiana Fever front office. If the Indiana Fever step onto that home court on Saturday and play a slow, sluggish, confused style of half-court basketball, if they struggle to get the ball past half-court, if Caitlin Clark spends the entire first quarter standing completely still on the wing, just watching someone else dribble the air out of the basketball, the Boo Birds are going to rain down from the rafters in their own arena. It will be deafening. If this team stumbles out of the gate, if we look up at the 15-game mark and the Fever are sitting at a mediocre 7 wins and 8 losses, this fan mutiny is going to evolve into a full-scale, unstoppable revolution. Stephanie White will be sitting on the hottest seat in the entire sporting world, and the executives who bypassed better candidates to hire her will be sitting right there in the flames with her. The clock is ticking. The PR games are officially over. You cannot manufacture a winning culture on social media. You cannot edit together a championship team in Adobe Premiere. You have to prove it on the hardwood. The talking is finally done. It is put up or shut up time for the Indiana Fever front office. The greatest home court advantage in women's sports is hanging by a thread, and they are the ones holding the scissors.